Welcome to No Flipping Excuses with Jason Lucchesi. Jason Lucchesi was the guy voted least likely to succeed by his high school peers. Today, Jason's a real estate flipping ninja Jedi Knight assassin who's taken his drive, street smarts, and never give up attitude and converted them into a real estate flipping business and freedom-based lifestyle. Here to share the truth about flipping houses, finding sellers, delivering buyers, real estate investing without the reality show hype, and all around general business badassery. Your host, Krav Maga enthusiast, husband and father of three, Jason Lucchesi.
Hey, what's up? It's Jason Lucchesi, and welcome to the No Flipping Excuses Show. We are bringing you an amazing topic for today's show that you will not want to miss, and it involves how to find and flip probates for massive profits within the next 30 days. So you're going to want to stick around for that. We are going to be covering something here with Mike, the myth, Bredthauer here. We're going to be talking about the tool of the week, something that you can take advantage of and start using in your business immediately. So Mike, what is that?
Jason, I'll tell you what, man, I was really excited when I found out about this tool. I'm dead serious, man. It's everybody uses photos for their social media, right? I mean, how many pictures do you use within your marketing, your social media, or just to boost up your social presence, right?
Oh yeah, images are huge to be used in your business. You want to be using images all the time, and you want to be able to really give people an insight of how you are, why you choose those images.
Right. And, you know, we all know about stock images, and you can imagine going on Google and searching a stock image for someone running down the beach. Like, you can, in your mind, you kind of know what that's going to look like for a stock image. That's something you can use for free. But if you want something shot by a professional photographer that you can use in your ad, something that you're likely going to get good traction with, or something that's going to get people to draw to your profile. So let's say you're posting up how you buy properties, having a professionally shot, you know, profile shot with the house would definitely be a step up from something you'd find from stock images, right?
Absolutely.
Right. You don't want to break the bank. So Rashad.com actually allows you to use professionally shot images by photographers. And I think what their goal is to allow photographers to have a place to set up their portfolio and get their images out there, which is why photographers would do this, because it's free for you to use. And the license on it, basically, I would encourage you to read it before you use it, but it sounds like it gives you unlimited use to use it even in commercial purposes. So in your advertising is a possible thing to use this for free.
No, this is really a great tool that you could be using for all of your social media platforms, your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, LinkedIn, all of that stuff. You could be using Rashad.com. So really great tool from, obviously, the myth. He's always coming out of the shadows like a ninja, acting like the myth.
That's right.
And making things happen. So without further ado, Mike, let's go ahead and dive head first here into talking about probates. So probates is something, you know, I got involved with heavily when I first got started in the business. Main reason why is not a lot of people were doing it. Not a lot of people were doing it, Mike, and mainly the reason why is they had no idea what to do with a probate. And we've been dealing with probates now for a while. We came out with a good training about probates, but a lot of folks, they don't understand who to contact, Mike.
Right.
And I know we've done a lot of due diligence regarding that, you know, either be the executor, the beneficiaries. Like, a lot of folks don't know how to get in contact with them. And that's something that we discuss quite a bit. And we've been getting a lot of questions about that, right? Because if you get a hold of the executor, this is where you can make the 4 to 5 figure checks for helping somebody that really wants you to help them out right now. And one of the best ways to do this, for finding the executors, for finding the beneficiaries, is finding them through the courthouse, through public record. You can get that information. And the also awesome thing here is, maybe you only get the first name, maybe you get the email, or not the email address, you get the physical address.
Right.
The cool thing that you can do there is you can get the email address through going through a skip tracing service like TLO. You can get their email, you can get their phone number, their current mailing address, You can get so much information using TLO, and that's TLO.com or Spokeo. And that's SPOKEO.com, Spokeo.com, Mike. So those are some really great ways for finding the probates. But what do you think, Mike, as far as why people aren't going after more probates here?
Well, I think the majority reason, well, I don't have to think, I should know, because I talk to a lot of investors and a lot of our students when they're even looking into asking about our education, like, hey, I'm thinking about doing probates. How'd your education help? Their biggest challenge or their biggest objection to doing it themselves is, like you said, first, they don't know where to find the leads. Second is they don't know how to do the marketing to those leads, like to even find like skip tracing, getting emails. If you only have the address, sometimes like nobody lives there anymore. In some cases, so you need to find another way to reach out to them. So skip tracing, and then finally objections, fear of the objections that they're going to get when they reach out to this person. Like, I'm always afraid they're going to call me and be upset that I'm reaching out to them, wanting to buy their property, take advantage of the situation, and. Yep. What they don't see is like that's not what you're doing at all.
No, that's exactly true. Like when my grandfather passed away, it was my grandmother that was responsible for the home now. And, she was in her 80s and, she got sick. This was probably like 2004, 2005-ish. And, I saw what happened after she passed. My mom was the executor of the estate, and then my aunt and uncle were actually, this is the first time I've ever seen anybody in a family situation work well together in a particular manner to where they have to liquidate everything that's within the estate. So what happened is they had the house, and my grandmother and grandfather, they paid this house off in full. It was free and clear. And this is before I really started getting into real estate. So the thing that really helped here is that they worked together rather than fighting each other, because the house was worth about like $230,000, $240,000, which once that property is sold, they would be able to divide that amongst each other. But Mike, that's out of the norm to see family members working synergistically together when it comes to a family member passing away. And
right. It really is. Yeah. To have somebody all on the same page and saying like, okay, yeah, this is the will states. We'll divide things up evenly, and I don't want this and you don't want that. I mean, that is just, is there a case where that's, I mean, maybe, where there's only one dependent, but beyond that, no, there's always some sort of grief over or fight over something. Falling, some families, they have a temporary family feud, becomes a fight for a number of years. Usually it's not usually something that's like, a couple of days later. Years later, there'll be some forgiveness. And sometimes it's just never. It's like, we're done.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, would I make probates, one of my primary focuses as a lead source? No, it's going to be, something that's going to be in my top 3, because there's other sources out there that are going to be a little bit more profitable for me. But you do have to approach probates in a much different manner than you would if I was going to be talking to an asset manager at a bank. We're going to have a totally different conversation. So say, for instance, Mike, loses somebody and I'm giving them a call. And, this is how it would go. So let's just do a quick role play here.
Absolutely.
So I'm calling. Mike picks up the phone as the individual that, just lost a loved one on his side of the family, and he's the executor of the estate. I found his information through TLO. So I'm calling him right now. Mike is hearing the phone ring. He picks up.
Hey, hello.
Hey, how's it going? Is Mike available?
This is Mike.
Hey, Mike. My name's Jason Lucchesi, and I wanted to reach out to you here. I saw that you just lost a loved one. I sent out a direct mailer to you the other day that I just wanted to send forth, my condolences. And I also wanted to reach out because I know how hard it can be during this. And I'm a real estate investor here that helps folks out that are going through a similar situation like yourself. And I wanted to reach out to see if you guys have made up any decisions on what you want to do with the house at 123 Main Street.
Honestly, I haven't really thought about it.
Okay, so is this a house that you guys are gonna potentially want to keep? Because I could tell you right now that taxes are gonna be coming due here, and as you know, spring is upon us. The yard is gonna be needing to be mowed. That's gonna need to be taken care of. If it goes above a certain length in that particular county, they do charge for what's called code violations. So I'm not sure if you're planning on living in it or if you're just planning on keeping it vacant. Have you thought about any of that yet?
Well, I actually live about 45 minutes away, so no, I'm not planning on living in it. I really haven't thought about that at this point.
Okay. So one of the things and I appreciate your time. I know you're going through a tough time right now. One of the things that I just wanted to find out from you is if I could maybe come over, take a look at the property, and maybe I could talk to you a little bit more, see if it's something that you would be wanting to sell to us, because at that point, we can just make you a cash offer. We're a real estate investment company here. So if you were able to sell off the property quickly and not have to worry about it, especially the taxes, potential code violations, and insurance on the property, because you're going to need to have the house insured. If we could come and help you out with that, would that be something that you'd want to do?
Okay, I'm going to break character real quick, Jason. I'm going to tell you, here's what they're going to say all the time, or 99% of the time, and what you have to be prepared for, and I'm sure you know what's coming. What's your offer?
So, and I'll break character too. So one of the things that you would do here is whenever they say, hey, I want to know what the offer is, this is how I like to do it. So Mike, no, I appreciate you asking that question. Have you figured out what you want to receive for the property? Have you looked at any other properties in the area and have found out how much that property is selling for?
Well, I'd like to get $250,000 for it.
Okay, and how did you come up with that number?
Well, I looked on Zillow, figured out that's probably what it's worth.
Okay, so that's a number that you want as of right now. Like if I made you that offer, that's something that you want to accept based off of Zillow?
Yeah, if you made that, I would accept that right now. Absolutely.
Okay, so what I would like to do, since I haven't seen the property and I would really like to kind of take a look at it first, is either myself or one of my team members would like to come over, because I'll be honest with you, what it says from a tax assessed value is around $180,000. And I don't go off of the tax assessment. Obviously, it could be inaccurate. Also, Zillow is very inaccurate too. It gives you what's called Zestimate, which is just a way for Zillow to come up with a number. So is there another number that you've thought of as far as making an offer or receiving an offer on this property?
Well, I mean, I got to be honest, this all just kind of happened. So I really, like I said, I just looked at Zillow. That was the number I saw, and I figured that's probably what it's worth. If you made me an offer that made sense to me or was a reasonable offer, I'd think about it.
Okay. Now, from the standpoint of your property going through probate,
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to continue to have the property go out for a length of time, to which means you guys have to pay additional attorney fees, which could come out of the estate, which means you guys generally will get less. So you as the executor have the power to make that decision on if you want to continue to pay for the probate process to go through and pay your attorney more funds and attorney fees while the property's staying vacant. You have to pay insurance on it. You have to rack up and pay that tax bill. If you don't want to pay the tax bill, then that becomes a lien on the property at that point. So, and then, we have to worry about maintaining the lawn, because people in that neighborhood, they really like to keep the yards looking nice and clean. And, some folks might have too much time on their hands, Mike, and they may call the city and report it. And if somebody comes out and they do a code violation, that's not good. That could be a result of certain expenditures that you probably weren't seeing.
Right. Well, Jason, was that your name?
Yes.
To be honest, I do have to talk to, my brother about this, because, I don't want to pay extra fees. I really don't want to be hanging on to this property. I don't want to pay taxes. I don't want to pay for those things, but I also, have to talk to him about it. I mean, like, this all just kind of happened, but yeah, I would like to get rid of it quickly. I mean, if it's up to me, then yeah.
Okay. So you want to get rid of it quickly. Okay. You don't want to have to worry about the burden of any additional fees, such as the taxes that I just talked about. Maybe something could go wrong with the property. Since you're 45 minutes away, we get hail here in the area. So as you know, if hail damage happens, it's going to decrease the value quite a bit in that property. And then you're going to have to use insurance, which is going to raise up all your deductibles.
Right.
So with that being said, why don't I schedule a time with you right now? I could come take a look at the property. I know you're 45 minutes away. I'm about 30 minutes away. So what works best for you, morning, afternoon, or evening?
Evening time. I work mornings.
Okay, so in the evening, would 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, or 7 o'clock work better for you?
5 o'clock would be good.
Okay, so I'm jotting down 5 o'clock is going to be the time that we're going to go ahead and meet. The best number that you could get a hold of me is 317-900-1307. And the number that I'm calling you on right now, Mike, is that the best number for you?
Yeah, this is my cell phone.
Okay, cool. And then also too, what's a good email address for you? Because what I'm going to do is once I'm at the property for you, if we decide to move forward, I'm going to make you an offer. And instead of printing everything off, we could have everything done electronically.
Absolutely. It's Mike the Myth at jasonluchesi.com.
Perfect. Mike the Myth. I like that. That's a good email address. So what I'll do is I'll see you at 5 o'clock tomorrow. And we'll go ahead take a look at the property. And if you have any questions whatsoever between now and then, just feel free to reach out. I'll also send you an email so that you can have everything from my email signature if you need to reach out to me at all.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your time, Jason. Thank you.
All right. No problem. Thank you, Mike. So obviously that's, just Mike and I role playing and going through everything.
I didn't try to make it easy for you. I gave you the typical responses that you're going to get. So if you're going to the phone and you're on the line and you're worried about how the conversation is going to go, it's going to go very similar to that. Obviously, you got to adjust and adapt, but what other objections or how many more objections do you think you're going to get in between you getting them on the phone and scheduling the time to go look at the house?
No, yeah, you're not going to get too much more as far as objections. If they do need to talk with the other family members, they're going to have to talk to them because we're talking like, it's the executor. They're making obviously the executive decision here, but it's going to be, if they don't want to tear up the family, they're going to have to talk about this number. They're going to have to talk about it. So if I come in and let's just say the property is worth like $250,000 in an as-is condition, and I'm obviously trying to get the house at the lowest possible point, then I'm going to have to go there. I'm going to have to take a look at it because from a virtual standpoint, it doesn't always work. I know a lot of folks out there, they want to talk to you about virtual wholesaling, and a lot of the so-called gurus out there are going to tell you that you can do probates virtually, and you can. Don't get me wrong. But if you come across somebody that, wants to meet somebody face to face, they want to talk first before they do anything, then that's going to have to be something that you are going to have to bite the bullet on. And yes, get out of your comfort zone, go meet with them and talk to them. Because when I brought Mike with me on an appointment many years ago, probably 10 plus years ago.
Yeah, probably.
We sat at somebody's table and the conversation went pretty good. I was able to get the contract signed right then and there. We took a look at the house. They weren't wanting to stay in the house. It was something that they want to get rid of as quickly as possible. And the great thing about probates too is they leave items behind. This is something that not a lot of people talk about. We've had people that leave cars behind. It's part of the property when we buy it.
Right.
They leave antiques behind. One time I had a house that was a probate that was full of these old antique cars that were still in the box from the early 1950s.
Oh, wow.
We were able to sell those things on eBay anywhere between $750 and $1,100.
Can you imagine?
They were brand new. Never brought out of the box or anything like that.
That's something that you would see on American Pickers or something crazy like that,
You absolutely would see that on American Pickers. And one time I've gotten cars before. One example was this Honda Accord. I I didn't need it or want it, and I didn't feel like selling it.
You didn't want a nice, what was it, a mid-90s Honda Accord?
Yeah, it was a mid-90s. But the thing is, when you're dealing with individuals at those types of properties, the older folks, they keep those properties well maintained. So there was no rust. There was no wear and tear. The tires look good.
So it probably really was a nice car.
It was. It was mainly garage kept.
Oh, okay.
So, here in the Midwest, you get that salt on the underbody. It starts, rusting away.
It goes away.
So we were able to take that thing to CarMax, and we were able to sell it for, I think it was like $9,000. Because CarMax, you take it there, they give you a check right on the spot. They'll do an appraisal and you get to walk away.
Clearly more than my 82 Camaro buttered up and rust was worth.
Oh gosh, that thing was awful. And then I had remember my two-door Honda Accord. That was my first car ever. I got completely bamboozled, Mike.
You probably felt like Richard Petty because didn't you have to climb through the window to get in the car?
I had to climb through there, but also, too, there was a leak on the gas line. You remember? So people would see me. I'd be filling up my gas tank, and gas would be coming out because 60% of it would be getting into the tank, and 40% of it would be leaking out everywhere. So I remember people would come up to me and be like, "You're leaking gas," and I'd be like, "Yeah, I know."
I have to just like close my eyes and think about this because yes, I remember that car and it was a hazard in every way. The clutch was slipping so bad. It took you like 45 minutes to get moving.
It was. That thing was awful. The woman that sold it to us, oh my gosh,
she was laughing all the way to the bank.
Yeah. I think it was $500 for that thing.
You thought you were pretty cool though. Imagine if you had gotten a car like this for your first car, a nice, decent Honda with no rust instead of your death machine. It
was a death machine. I remember accidentally ramming into somebody. And luckily, it didn't do anything to the back end of that person's car. But man,
ramming into somebody, like he makes it sound like it was just like a little bump. But you say ramming, it sounds like
it actually was
fender bender.
The clutch was so messed up on it. But man, we could on the cars that I had early on in my life, we could go on and on about that. But some of the things here with moving on for probates.
Yeah.
And again, this is going to be a great source for you to really kind of dive into and get yourself involved in. Some of the ways that we do it is we find people at the county recorder's office, Mike. And the best ways too, Mike, you said something about how you could find these people as far as the death notice, not the actual obituary, right, Mike?
Yeah. So if you go to every county is going to be different.
It's going to be different,
yeah. But it's essentially the public health office.
Yeah.
And look up death notices. Now, everyone's going to be different as far as whether they charge you or not, but looking up a death notice is a way to go in after them before they even reach the probate, essentially. A pre-probate, what we call it. We have training on that, actually, going after pre-probates. But if you go there, you're going after them with zero market exposure. I mean, they haven't... The only people that know about this property are the people within the family, the close-knit circle of people surrounding the deceased.
And an attorney.
An attorney, absolutely.
Because that's a key thing. You have an attorneys on your side, you're going to be getting a ton of opportunities for you. You're going to get probates, bankruptcies, divorces, people that are in pre-foreclosure. You're going to find pre-foreclosure before the banks file the actual judgment because it happens after the fourth missed payment.
Right.
That gets sent out. Everybody becomes aware of it at that point. But imagine if your attorney contacts you and they've been 2 payments behind. What if you can get in line and you're the very first person? Same thing applies with probates. If mom and dad have been going to Joe Smith attorney for the last 40 years and they've helped out the kids, they've put all their wills together, all their estates together, all of a sudden, mom and dad passes away, mom has it, then mom passes away. Who's going to know about that? Who's going to be handling everything for the family? The attorney.
And think about it. We just had a conversation. It was maybe 2 months ago at the NREA. We were talking to the attorney, Matt, about what he would be looking for if an investor was to reach out to him for attorneys. And, remind him, what was he talking about? What information was he like, hey, if they submitted a packet of this, it was, having a proof of funds letter, having your written offer, and having a letterhead letter like stating your business, not just like a letter written, handwritten, but an actual business letterhead, officially stating your intentions and that you're there to help. They're not going to pitch your package to their client, but you will make the top 3, is what he said. And then when it comes time for their client to need that sort of help, the attorney's more likely to give one of yours to their client as, hey, these are some potential resources for you if you want to look into them. Like the attorney's never going to sell them for you.
Right.
But when you start closing deals, at some point, hey, this person, you're always going to be on the top of the pile, and the attorney will be like, this person's helped me in the past or helped my other clients.
Yeah.
He's not selling you, but he's just saying, hey, he has done stuff for me in the past. He's helped my other clients.
Absolutely. Once you close a deal with an attorney, that is going to take your business to the next level. And you don't need many of these attorneys to be working with. Obviously, if you want to continue to scale and grow your business, you're going to want to talk to multiple attorneys. But on the other hand, if they're giving you business, you should be also giving them business as well. So if you know somebody that needs estate help, or they need an attorney with a legal matter, you're going to go ahead and refer them over to that individual so that the relationship is growing and floundering and blossoming, all of that good stuff. You want to make sure that you're constantly in reciprocal mode with the individuals that are helping you out the most. If you need to find attorneys, LinkedIn is huge. We talk about LinkedIn quite a bit because it's such an amazing opportunity with folks that are in your area. Also, too, you brought up funding. Mm-hmm. I would encourage folks to listen to episode 17, the one we did with Dwayne Ortega with besttransactionfunding.com. You need proof of funds letters. Dwayne's website will be able to provide that for you. It's just besttransactionfunding.com. You check that out because that was a really good one. Check out that episode as well.
Yeah, Dwayne had said your first deal, it might take 2 weeks to get funded, but after that, it's days.
Yeah.
And you don't have to use them for funding, like he said, but he's giving you these unlimited proof of funds letters. He makes it so easy. It's like $4.95 processing fee on the back end.
Yeah, nothing up front.
Yeah, nothing up front.
Your credit's not pulled. You don't have to show bank statements.
Yeah.
Nothing is pulled. All that you need to have, especially if you're wholesaling, is your cash buyer ready to go on the backside. So if you're doing what I like to call for our exit strategy, our A to B, B to C transaction, where you actually buy the property and you actually sell the property that you just bought, Dwayne's going to be able to do that funding for you.
Right. And we don't get anything from Dwayne. It's important to know we've worked with Dwayne. Our business worked with Dwayne. He's great. Their company performs very well. I've never heard anything bad. We're just putting him out there as a resource. Like, hey, use them as a potential funding for your probate deals. This is like one of those things. Like, what's your excuse for not doing probate deals? I can't do funding. Well, not so much anymore.
Yeah, there's never been one, and we wanted to always do this for the No Flipping Excuses show, to where we're giving you the resources to go out there and get the checks that you desire every single month after month. Right, Mike?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we really want to show people, because I think everybody can say or can agree on some level that real estate investing got a bad stigma a few years ago. And it was only because there was the small percentage, the 10% of investors out there that were not doing things the right way, that gave everybody the bad opinion. So normally, somebody that got a letter from an investor from a probate would be like very willing to listen, whereas now they're kind of skittish. They're like, I don't know, is this investor going to know what they're doing? Are they just trying to prey on me? I don't know. By us really want to put out the content, it's not just because we want you to come and look at our training. That'd be great. And I think you will when you see the value in what we put out there. But our main goal is to put as much out there as we can to show you, like, here's how you properly do investing. This is going to make our investing community better for everybody. Come to the No Flipping Excuses Facebook page, be a part of our investing community. That's like, there's no charge for that.
No.
Come and join the other investors on that page and get this other free info to learn how you can make real estate investing better, how you can go after probates the right way, add them to your business strategy. Yeah, you're making a profit, but you're also helping somebody out of a tough situation.
You are. Like we've been discussing on this whole entire episode, you have to find out from the individual exactly what the problems are so you can be a solutions solver. You don't go into a doctor's office and don't tell the doctor exactly what's wrong, because if that's the case, the doctor's going to give you something that you may have a really negative, you may have a negative reaction to it. So you go into the doctor's office, what do? They check your blood pressure, they check your pulse, they check your temperature. Then when the doctor comes in, they check out your ears, they check out your throat, they check out your nose,
and then you
tell them what's wrong.
Where it hurts. Yeah. That's that one question. Where does it hurt?
Yep, exactly. And then you become the individual that's now having a doctor tell you how they're going to solve your problem. So you need to put on your doctor's cap when you're talking to these individuals and kind of listen to them. The more questions you ask, the more they're confessing to you on how they want you to help them. If you just come in and you don't ask any questions whatsoever, you're going to have a major, major problem, because you're going to come in thinking, I'm just going to tell this person what I can do for them and pitch them benefits.
Right.
And most people don't want that. They don't want benefits.
No, I love that your analogy of coming this as a doctor. If you get on the phone with every probate deal and think, all right, I just got to find out where it hurts. You know, and have that doctor mentality. Where does it hurt and how do I make the pain go away? You probably get a lot more deals closed.
No, you absolutely would. You do. You do get more deals done, and that will show up on the bottom line for you at the end of each and every month. But you also have to think about this. Yes, it's a business, but on the other end, you're helping somebody solve a problem to something that really, really hurts. If you've ever lost a loved one, you know that it hurts quite a bit. And if you can help at least solve some of that pain, and you can help them get rid of the property, then you're going to really put them in a position to where they're going to love you to death.
Yep,
and
absolutely.
Most of the time on how we're marketing to them, Mike, is we're using either a really cool postcard or a yellow letter.
Right.
Now we have a couple different sources that you can use for that. You could go to nfe.investorfarm.com. So that's NFE. So that's short for no flipping excuses. .investorfarm.com, or you can use yellow letters complete.
Right.
.com. And both of those sites have our templates. They have all of that stuff. They could also supply you with leads.
Yep, absolutely.
And those sites, to be honest with you, both of them have really great sources on how they pull their data for you to send off direct mailing campaigns to.
Right. Sites that, again, no affiliation with, that we use. So we're just saying, if you want to rip off and repeat a successful business, you're telling them how to do it right now.
Yeah.
You're saying, hey, this is what I use. Go use the same thing. You wouldn't say, hey, this is like with the doctor thing again. I don't want to keep pulling back to that, but if a doctor says, here, take medicine A, and you're like, well, I'm going to take medicine B. What was that result are you expecting? So yeah, no, use those tools and as a matter of fact, getting around your own objection to yourself, essentially, because I think that's where most people are failing.
Yeah, we get folks into that engineer mindset.
Yeah.
We get a lot of folks that come in here, they get way too educated for themselves, for their own good.
Too educated for themselves. You know what? You're probably right. Like, too much of something kills you.
It does. It's just like, you stick your nose into a book and that's all it is. And then you realize at the end of the day, nothing ever happens. You have to be able to take that leap. It's going to be foggy out there. Your first step, you're not sure of the unknown. It's very foggy out there, and you just have to trust and believe in yourself that it's going to work. You have to be able to walk forward and not knowing what's in front of you. If there's a big hole, there's a cliff, you have to know that something is going to happen. So I'm going to take this from good old Steve Harvey. You have to know that your parachute is going to open. It may not open right away, but it will eventually open. You might get some cuts, some bruises, some bumps along your way, along your path. But unless you're willing to do the things necessary in order to become successful and see the results that you desire, you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable, Mike.
Very true. And I think actually today you had some a download and some resources to give away on that topic as far as getting out of your own way and going back to you doing everything you can to make that business possible. Yeah. To show them like, hey, there is no excuse, because like all these things you're talking about, it's kind of what you had to go through in the very beginning, isn't it? I mean, everybody seems to think that the successful person woke up, stepped out of bed, and they were successful. And they didn't realize there was this huge journey in between where you had to deal with people getting mad at you and you being really uncomfortable, maybe even to the point where, it made your body hypertensive, your heart raced and you got a little sweaty. But, as any doctor would tell you, how long does that last? 30 seconds, maybe a minute, and it goes away. And then what? Then you still got the rest of your life.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. And, pain is something that's temporary. You could either not experience it and just get out of the way, or you can take a back seat and watch other people. You could constantly see how people are doing on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and you get upset at yourself. Because believe it or not, you can get there too, but the people that are where you ultimately want to be, they were willing to take on that pain. They were willing to take that leap of faith.
Well, they did take the first step. They're listening to the podcast.
That is true.
So the next step is to, take the tools that you're talking about from this podcast, the ones you're going to give away that, people don't, that other people charge for, essentially even.
Yeah, what we're going to be giving here, and you could go to this link here. It's bit.ly/NFE probate. And you'll be able to get our free downloads from there. Those are our infograph sheets.
It's for it's an actual blueprint for probates. So everything we cover today from start to finish and how to do a probate, this is your blueprint. This is what you use for your business. Yeah. I mean, this is a tool that you created for your own business. And now you're just like, well, why don't I just give it to other people to use for their own?
Yeah. And you could go ahead, grab that at bit.ly/NFE probate, and you'll be able to get that absolutely for free, no charge whatsoever. We want to be able to give you the tools that you need to succeed.
Absolutely.
So we're in wrap up mode right now, Mike. Is there anything that you have left to go ahead and give to folks right now that could be something that's needed, or your final words?
Well, I think we can finally wrap up the whole show by taking the tool we talked about today, Rashad.com. Gabbing those stock images and creating a Facebook page to boost up your business to marketing to do probates. You can actually create a Facebook business page directed just at probates. It's still part of your business, but it's not all you're doing. But then you could start using reshot images to drive up relevance to that page. Let people say, hey, he's using these images of properties, marketing how he's buying probates, or not even saying the word probate so much, saying the word, hey, do you or somebody you need to know need to sell a house quickly for cash?
Yeah, absolutely. And, one of the huge things is, we do episodes like this every single week.
Yep.
So Tuesday at 11 p.m. Eastern is when we do these episodes. If you have any suggestions, especially at all, if you're saying, hey, Mike, Jason, hey, I would really like for you to cover this on one of the future episodes, one of the best ways to do that is to reach out to us, connect with us at bit.ly/no flipping excuses. You could reach out to us and we'll be able to communicate with you. We are here. We're with you in this together. We want to see that you get the results that you want, and we want to try and deliver as much of the content that is needed in your real estate investing business. So make sure you go ahead and do that. Message us on the Facebook business page. That's what we're here for, right, Mike?
Absolutely. We're trying to not just, like I said, with this Facebook page, No Flipping Excuses, it's a community of like-minded investors that are trying to create something successful and work together. That's not a competition mindset. It's, hey, how can we help each other?
Absolutely. And one last thing that I'm going to leave with, especially if you enjoyed this episode, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Make sure that you leave us a 5-star review and just let us know what you enjoyed about this episode or any of the other episodes, because we want to make sure that we are here for you and delivering you nothing but the best content so that you can see the results that you desire. But other than that, I'm Jason Lucchesi, and I'm alongside the myth, Michael James Bredthauer here. There is no flipping excuses. Go out there, make it happen, and start seeing exactly what you want in your business today. So that is it. We will see you on the next episode. Take care. Bye now.
Thanks for listening. For show notes and links to anything discussed on today's program, visit noflippingexcuses.com. If you'd like to call the show, dial 317-900-1307, 24/7. Leave a message with your first name and where you're calling from, and include your question, comment, or concern. Who knows? You might end up on the air with Jason Lucchesi. If you like the show, be sure to subscribe on iTunes or Stitcher. The links are posted at noflippingexcuses.com. Remember, you can close more deals now, make your own rules, and design and live an amazing life without having some jerk-off boss tell you what to do. Share noflippingexcuses.com with like-minded people you know who are ready for badassery, crushing it in real estate, and enjoying freedom to whatever you like, whenever you like it.